Joining me today is Mitasha Haripal, a digital marketing specialist from Johannesburg. Mitasha, thank you so much for joining Free Talk Africa today. I have to say, everyone I've been meeting is looking amazing. I did second guess my Free Talk Africa t-shirt this morning, but thank you very much for joining us. I think one of the things that really stood out for me from your profile is your journey into being the CEO at Clicked Digital. I'd love to go back. Who is Mitasha and how did your journey start?
Who is Mitasha? It always feels like that's a trick question, eh? Like every time I get asked that question, it's like, oh, what do you do? Who am I? What do I do? Yeah, who am I? What do I do? I'm a just a zestful, ambitious person in everything that I do. And where Click started and where I am today actually stems from my life in corporate. I was very fortunate to join EdCon a few years ago. It feels like a few years ago, it's actually a decade now. And I started off as a traffic manager. I was headhunted as a traffic manager. And
this was at EdCon?
I was actually at a B2B IT company. Okay. And then I was headhunted to join as a traffic manager. And thought, wow, it's retail, it's fashion, it's glamorous. Who wouldn't, right? It's like every girl's dream. So I started there, and I grew into the digital marketing manager in under a year. I had fantastic mentors and leaders that groomed me. And shortly thereafter, I became the head of digital marketing for Jet. Which is a brand that everybody knows and loves, and we all grew up with it. Right. I was on a fantastic trajectory. I was heading for CMO. I was going to bag a master's in marketing, and like with most people, 2020 COVID happened to everyone. It was a reality that shook all of us. But as South Africans, as determined women, you figure out, you kill what you eat, right? So figure out your plan. So in March 2020, EdCon was bought over, or EdCon announced the restructure and the trouble in the business. Our salaries were cut, things weren't looking so good. We had a global pandemic. By August, we were already talking retrenchment.
How did that feel for somebody that aspired to be the chief marketing officer? I mean, you had quite a tenure at EdCon, a very impressive one, and you aspired to be the chief marketing officer. How did that feel?
Shattered. It's your entire dreams just shattered, because one, it's. I think it would have been a bit different if there wasn't a COVID in play. Nobody knew how to trade in that time. So you just felt alone, shattered. I remember, sitting outside in my patio and thinking that my life is over. And you put all of your eggs in here, and you studied towards it, you worked towards it, you've aspired to this, and now where do you go? But you shift gears. Yeah. And that's why having a positive mindset is really important. But to have perseverance and grit is even more important.
That's something that we're not trained to react towards. We're not trained for how do we react to these disastrous situations and moments of crisis. But what is very interesting there is when you said you've put all your eggs in one basket. Because that's what we do when we join an employer, when we join corporate. We put all of our eggs in one basket. Mm-hmm. From being shattered or feeling shattered, how do you feel now knowing your eggs are in so many different baskets? I mean, you could lose a client, but you still have a steady, strong income and a business. So what I'd love to know is from that feeling shattered moment, how did you build up to where you are now?
I cried. I really did cry. And I learned this from Robin Sharma, where it's like, give yourself a minute, time yourself. It was half an hour that I sat there and I just cried uncontrollably, and I needed to get it out of my system. Yeah. That same week, I created a brand, I created a website.
The same week.
The same week.
Yeah.
Because I need to eat. I just said, okay, cool, let's see, how do we get things into gear? Got, business compliance in check. One thing I knew is how to market.
Yes.
Right? I didn't know how to do business, but I knew how to market.
Yes.
So I got the fundamentals right, and not even a month later, I went live, and I was like, we're doing it. And having a good support structure is everything.
Yes.
I had every single person in my family group, my friend group, in my neighbors. I mean, one of our clients till today is my neighbor.
That's amazing.
Because during COVID, we could only walk around in the complex,
Yeah.
right? And then you're standing across somebody like, hey, how's life? So having that support structure is so important, because that's how I got the clients that I have today. Most of it started like that. Friends, family, sharing on Facebook, sharing on Instagram. A meeting comes up, being referred. But it also comes with your reputation that you built.
So I think what's so interesting to me is, I've asked this question before to freelancers. Does a client buy your skills or services, or do they buy you? Because you can't be copied.
Yeah.
Your skills and services can.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? The fact that your neighbor is still your client, did he buy Clicked Up Digital, or did he buy Mitasha?
No, the client will always buy you. The fundamental of sales is like, know, and trust. Okay? It takes brands a very long time to get there. But initially, you are the person behind that brand.
Yes.
And if you look at consumer behavior nowadays, right, people talk about humanizing a brand because people want to connect with people.
Yes.
Fast forward to today, our team structure is a little bit different now, in that we function a bit more like an agency, where my business partner Anissa runs operations and I run business development. And despite us still, you're asking this question, do people now still buy me or the brand? It's now a journey. They buy me because that's the first person that they see, and that's the first person that they engage with most of the time. But they're also buying this brand because now we've developed our own testimonials from clients. We've developed our portfolio. So this starts talking to itself. So now we're growing the brand as well.
Yes.
And now we've made it more accessible for people to grow. So now we're talking economics. Now we're talking employment. Now we're talking about young minds developing. So answer your question, I think at the very beginning, people will always buy you. I don't know what Clicked would meant to my neighbor at that time.
Yeah, so that's interesting, because I've been speaking to a lot of freelancers that are struggling in South Africa. And one of my findings, so I go onto their LinkedIn page. One of the first things I do, I go into the LinkedIn page, Instagram page, I try to understand who this freelancer is. I cannot find from any detail in their LinkedIn profile or Instagram, who is this person? I've been going onto LinkedIn pages of freelancers in Nigeria and Kenya. I cannot tell you how beefed up their pages are. They have testimonials, they have case studies, they have examples of their work. You could look at their profile and know exactly who that freelancer is, what their superpowers are. But I have so many people complaining that the freelance space is a struggle and a hustle. And it is, it's not paradise, but they're not marketing themselves. What advice do you have for a struggling freelancer that is not marketing themselves?
Tell people what you do. I think it's we had a webinar last week, 2 weeks ago, pardon, where we're helping businesses market themselves. And sometimes the basic is just tell people what you do. You're telling people.
Like, how do they go forward and tell people who they are? So do they start by changing their LinkedIn profile to read freelancer? Do they update their bio? Like, what steps should they take to go forward to say, this is who I am, these are my skills, these are my services? this is my pricing methodology? Like, how do you get started?
So I think first thing, like, that's a very practical question because it's the how in where it sits. Number one, get a website, whether it's a landing page, whether it's a full-blown website, whether it's a 3-page, 4-page, 5-page. What that's going to do is that it's going to show the recipient that you're serious, that you have a registered business, that you can actually go and invest time in building your own brand. Because as freelancers, and it's quite common in the marketing fraternity, is that you're going to tell me you're going to market my brand, but you can't market yourself. Okay, so that's like a huge thing. Get a website, it proves credibility.
Yes.
Okay. The second thing is try to put your face wherever you can.
On a day you brush your hair and your makeup.
Yeah. Put your face wherever you can. People connect with that they know. We're living in a world of AI. We're living in such a connected world, but people are so disconnected. Be that connection.
Yes. So from freelancer for a very short space of time to CEO of Clicked Digital, how has AI impacted your agency? Because there's a lot of freelancers that fear AI, right? I have a friend that's a photographer, and his biggest fear is that at some point people are not going to use him. They're going to do photos on their phone, they're going to edit it through AI. He's not going to have an income. How have you embraced or leaned on AI to support you functioning better as a business?
So I look at AI like how we evolved from typewriters to computers. And yes, there is a large degree where it's going to do our job. There's pros and cons. So right now, how we're using AI is to help us streamline, help us automate, help us either start up or polish things, because it's still AI. Bots are great and they're amazing, but it's still a machine. And I often talk about connection and humanization. It's because that is what people are actually yearning. We came out of COVID when we were in lockdown, and people suffered depression because they weren't connecting with people. So it's the way in which AI is used. In our world, yes, it is replacing. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to create. So we have a few clients that used to brief in logos to us. They often start up shell companies and need a logo, quick brand. He's now switched to a few AI tools. And he just creates the logo himself. He doesn't need that logo in multiple formats. He doesn't need that logo to build a brand. But that's taken away small bits of income from us. And if you know, as a freelancer, you need various clients, the bigger retainer clients, ad hoc clients, and the big ones and the small ones, they all add up. So it does take away that aspect. So companies are looking to just do it themselves.
Do you think, so I have an opinion that even though AI is going to be taking away so many jobs, I think it's going to be creating so many other types of jobs. Do you think that if we had the mindset of understanding, or to stay ahead of the curve by understanding what can I do now that's going to keep me ahead by 2030, that we would be relevant or emotionally and highly relevant by 2030? Because the reality is that AI naturally is going to take a lot of jobs. Okay, people are going to go to Luca Logo Maker to do a logo instead of coming to Click Digital, right? And that's sad because you have a very humanized, personalized approach with your clients. But do you think there's a way for you and the team at Click Digital to stay ahead of the curve? So by 2030, when people are by default downloading logos via AI, there's a niche that specializes you as the go-to person.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we actually look at when we're hiring now, is how do you use AI? Because as much as AI is taking work from us, there's still a large part of the SME market that is growing rapidly in South Africa, and they don't want to be playing with logos when they've got a business to run, you know. So they outsource it to us, but they're like, can you give us sort of the basic package? where you can just use AI. So 100%, it's that it's AI is only as good as you tell it to be.
Yeah. And Mitasha, do you think that an honest pricing methodology builds clients' trust? What was your experience in terms of pricing? Were there any errors that you made initially that could have hindered a relationship? Or did you know from the get-go? I mean, you were very organized 1 week in and you already pen on paper, right? But do you think having a pricing methodology builds client trust and relationships?
100%. It absolutely does. We also in a very tough economic climate. I'm sure you're speaking to businesses, freelancers, contractors right now, where people aren't signing longer contracts. You know, before we used to see agencies sign 3-year contracts with clients. We're lucky to get a year now. So it is a tough economic climate. And if the client feels that you're not being honest or you're changing your prices as the wind changes, it makes budgeting very difficult for them. Number one. Number two, it kind of shows that you yourself are unstructured in that. So what we've actually done is we determine how we value ourselves.
Yes, that is so important.
Right? And we use it as differentiators, and that's why I'm going to come back to your question about marketing yourself. If you don't use those testimonials, if you do not use your work on LinkedIn, people are not going to believe in you. You can't tell me that something that is actually 10 Rand, you're charging 100 Rand for. And then when I get to your LinkedIn profile, your website, or your Instagram, that there's no testimonial, that there's no previous work shown, that there's no credibility from any courses that you may have done, any communities that you belong to, any awards that you might have achieved. We charge the rates that we charge because of our experience, because of our education, because something that takes 3 hours now takes us 15 minutes because it took us 10 years to get there.
Yes.
It's because we have a specialized skill. Whilst everybody is in digital marketing, we specialize in tech. We specialize in entrenching ourselves in your business because our vision is not just to put pretty pictures on the internet, it's to shift the bottom line for you and your business.
There's so many people out there that have no tertiary education for various reasons, affordability, having to support a family, but they've got skills. Let's take a graphic designer, for example. There's someone that finished matric, couldn't get into college or university, has the most incredible skills in graphic designing, animations, can't get into corporate because corporates are looking at education, but can deliver. What would you say to him or her to get started as a graphic designer? Because he or she has the experience, they have client testimonials, they can deliver, but how do they confidently put themselves forward as a freelancer? Do they need to be concerned about the fact that they don't have a tertiary education? Because that's holding so many people back. The youth unemployment rate makes my heart beat faster. Like, I am really, really worried about youth unemployment. But there's so many youth out there that know how to use TikTok. I don't for my business, right? They can work for a small brand or a startup as a freelancer. How did they get started?
So first of all, Desh, I think it's really important that if we have a skilled graphic designer that is hungry, eager to learn, it's not backed by any college or qualification, that they contact me.
Okay.
Because
so keep that one on record.
And I think that's part of the marketing, right? Is that there's always been a notion that you need to apply for a job at a big company because it's security. I am living proof of that. I had my half loaf, as we often call it, at a big corporate, and unfortunately that didn't work out for me. Much like most South Africans, you're talking about unemployment. Yesterday's news is the very same thing, where they're talking about unemployment becoming such a huge factor because companies are retrenching. So I think first of all, freelancers need to continue striving to apply for the big agencies, continue striving to apply for the big corporates, but also know that there's other companies out there. When I was younger, I wish I knew that. I was so determined to get into a big company, but it takes you sometimes a different route. So look at upcoming agencies, because you can freelance to them. That is a huge angle, because agencies are dependent on retainers. So they don't always like to take on full-time employees. There's a balance. So there might be an opportunity there for you. Another angle that you can look at from a freelancer is approaching companies, because things such as maternity leave, paternity leave, medical leave, people take that, mental health days, that workload has to go somewhere.
Yes.
So it's just about the different avenues that you look at. Start opening yourself up to those types of things and approach people before they approach you.
Yes.
Our number one employee, Pindani, he is pride and joy, but he initially contacted me via our website, and he's like, hey, I'm currently completing my degree and I need a job shadow, a 2-week job shadowing sort of gig with you.
Okay.
I'm like, we're in the middle of like a global pandemic, number one. Number two is like, everybody's still working remotely. Number three is that we are startups, so I can't really afford you. And he's like, no, I'll take anything. And it's that eagerness that stuck with me. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't just have you here for free, but I wish you all the best.
And having the notion of being really humble.
Yes.
You're going to humble yourself to
Yes.
the extra mile to say that if he wasn't, he would not have landed at Click Digital.
Exactly.
Right? But there's no boundaries here, because if you don't have that education, but if you do have the skill, do not lose your confidence.
100%. 100%. Continue striving. And what happened is he came back a few months later, came back knocking on my door, and this time I couldn't afford him, and there was an opportunity. One interview later, he's literally started on the same day. He literally started on the same day. So my one piece of advice for freelancers is be extremely eager. Drive. You're going to knock on a lot of doors. Most of those doors don't open. Most of those doors open and they get shut in your face. Most of those doors push you to another door. You don't know what's behind that. You just gotta be determined. Younger freelancers, please, if you're still young in your career, push, try, test. You will eventually mold your, you will be eventually molded to know what you want and why you want to go that way. But when you're young in your career, take on different opportunities.
I feel incredibly jealous of the youth of today, because I feel like if I went back, if I started what I'm doing right now, I would have been so successful. And the thing is that they have access to all of the resources. It's incredible. Any last minute advice for our viewers, Mitasha?
I think there is a world of opportunity for freelancers. There is a few discussions happening in a few business councils that I am in, and the bottom line is that we're just not finding eager, hungry people that can deliver.
Thank you. That is Mitasha Haripal, aspiring initially to be CMO at EdCon and today CEO at Click Digital.